I'm one of your hosts, Malu Beyonce, and my other host,
Gabe.
And we are so happy. This episode has drained me. I don't know about you, Gabe, but how are you feeling?
Honestly, the same. I don't know if it was just me or the episode, but I just had a weird feeling the entire time, and I don't know if it was the tension of the episode or me personally just bringing my real life into it. But yeah, I was just like, okay, this is a good, interesting episode. I feel like it could have been some of the content could have been compressed down a little bit, but I thought it was good.
I don't know what you're doing
In my opinion.
to me, David Story and the editors. I mean, I'm just going to start this off by saying this. Something is missing. It's not adding up. I mean, something's missing. The tension that's going on that has led to all this drama is not being shown. Something's off. But let's get to the show. I can't even explain it, but kick it off, Gabe. Tell me what's going on in this show.
Okay, so we start off the episode with Chini and Patrick talking about who they think they're gonna get, who's gonna be chosen for where. Jermaine walks in and Patrick is like, this is the best day ever, but not really. And the interesting about it is when Patrick was asking like who chose who for what teams, Jermaine was just like, oh, they didn't choose teams, we chose amongst ourselves. Or I don't know if it was the editing in that, but Patrick is like, oh, Jermaine is lying, his ego has been hit, I can see the doubt in his eyes, I'm gonna start playing my mind games on him. And I was just, I don't know, it was very odd to me what was going on there.
It was weird the way that Jermaine said it. He said, we just kind of dropped him down or something like that first. I don't know if it was strategy on Jermaine's part, if it was his ego, but it was not the truth. But it was also weird how he said it. What did you think it was? Do you think it was a strategy, an outright lie, or editing magic? What was it?
I don't know. I think it may have been editing in that situation. I don't know why he would lie in that scenario. Or maybe Jermaine was thinking, oh, I'm last picked, I'm the last one, what's wrong with me kind of thing, as opposed to the strategy that Matt and Darren might have employed in that scenario. Like, oh no, this is to get you to wear on Patrick's nerves, but maybe Jermaine took it differently. And so maybe that's what happened, but I don't know what's going on there. I'm sure there's a lot on the cutting room floor that a few people might want to say but aren't allowed to. So I have no clue.
It was very strange, but let's move on.
Okay. Yes. Oh, and I didn't realize it the first time watching, but I rewatched some of it, and I didn't know that Patrick got a new nickname of Tricky. A few of the other survivalists mentioned that his new nickname is Tricky, so I'm just like, oh, that's a nice nickname. Maybe they're not all rivals or as big of butting heads as we had thought originally, but we see Matt, Darren, and Trish kind of having a moment where Trish is complimenting Matt and Darren on their gameplay of having Jermaine go to Patrick and Chini's camp and talking about Tricky, aka Patrick. And so they're having a great time, and Matt just eating his fish like, this'll take Patrick down a peg or two. I'm playing mind games here. And so I thought that was a very fun moment.
And Trish is like down for it. She's like, oh, y'all are playing the game. I saw some things online about that as well, about how they're feeding Trish and Trish is riding coattails again. And it's just everything about this episode is just bringing me down. It's just so weird. I can't understand it. What are people saying about Matt choosing Trish over Jermaine?
I haven't seen a lot of people talking about who Matt chose. I've just been seeing a lot of the for Trish versus against Trish arguments kind of reigniting, but I'm seeing a lot more individuals coming to Trish's defense. I felt like Trish wasn't even seen a lot during the episode. We don't see that much of her. And people are saying she faked her eye injury because we don't hear about it during the episode. And I'm like, just because she's not talking about it doesn't mean it happened. She just doesn't really have a storyline this episode. So can we not say she faked an injury, please? Because she did get the vine sap in her eye. I don't think the medics are like, pretend you got the vine sap so you can sit down.
Okay, well, let's move on. What's up next?
So there is a little bit of back and forth between Patrick and Jermaine, because Patrick is like, oh, Jermaine, you should practice with the bow. And Jermaine's like, no, I'm not going to practice with the bow, really. And then they're going back and forth about it. And then we see Matt practicing with his bow and arrow, and he has like a small piece of paper bark off several yards away and he's just accurately shooting it and he's practicing, showing off his skills. This is a very Matt-centric episode. Then the next day goes hunting with Jermaine and Chini takes a shot at a boar but unfortunately misses, and then the two decide to go running after a piglet. And while they were running after the piglet, I was like, no, not the piglet. It's so cute. And kind of fortunately for the audience, unfortunately for them, they don't get the piglet. And I'm just like, huh. And I saw that Patrick post about, oh, the guy who's telling me not to run after the pigs is running after the pigs himself. And I'm just thinking, well, there's a difference between a full-grown boar with tusks and a little tiny baby piglet that's just like running around in the woods being like, why are these people chasing me? Kind of thing. But I was kind of happy that the piglet got away.
Right. Well, I think you skipped over something that was really important, and that's on day 12 when Jermaine and Patrick are arguing. And what I don't like is how Patrick speaks to Jermaine. I believe he said something like, you have to understand, this isn't sitting up in a tree blind in front of a pile of corn. Are you a hunter, Gabe?
I am not.
So the way that Patrick's talking to him, it's him saying, look, we're out in the wild here. This isn't fancy hunting where you're basically being set up where the hog's going to come to you. And it's really rude the way he's talking to him. And I don't know if people understand that. And I kind of want to point it out to you. There's a way to talk to somebody. There's a way to give somebody advice. And I think that is being looked over. If you're going to talk to someone and give somebody advice, give them real advice and don't talk down to somebody. You're talking down to him. And I think it rubbed Jermaine the wrong way. And Jermaine's like, listen, I got it. I'm a grown-ass man. Let me just do my thing. And I think this is why they're not having good communication. And Chini says, you need to stop. Just squash it. What do you think about this interaction, Gabe? Like, do you see how disrespectful that Patrick's being?
I think, yeah, when he was saying it's not sitting wherever in front of a pile of corn, I thought that was very rude. I don't know if this is part of the mind games, but I'm sure Jermaine spoke a lot of his hunting experience, and maybe Patrick wanted to like hit him where it hurt, like, oh, you haven't been successful here and you have all this experience. It's not this. But I think it may have gone a little bit too far with the way he was talking about it. He could just say, hey, I think you need to practice because we haven't gotten anything out here and you're the most experienced. But I think it might have been part of his mind games. And I think that they're kind of wearing down a little bit on Jermaine, and Jermaine's kind of feeling the effects of the competition and the environment. And so good for Patrick, bad for Jermaine, and Chini's kind of stuck in the middle of both of them.
I don't know what you mean by good for Patrick. I think that Patrick is disrespectful, and I think that they're not showing everything. Some things not being shown, and I just want to point that out. But let's move on. Because we can't talk about what's not being shown because we don't know. I think it was ridiculous for them to go chasing after that little pig. But I think for Chini, I think they got in the heat of the moment because it was a little pig. And I think they wasted way too many calories. That was smart. But I think it was her first kind of hunt. And they let the moment get away from them.
Exactly. And I just remember seeing, they showed that moment in the trailer where Chini takes a shot and then Jermaine gives her the arrows and then he goes running after the boars and stuff. And I was just like, oh, I guess when I watched it in the trailer, I was just like, oh, maybe she got something and he's going to like go after it. But then it was just like, oh, it's just a little piglet.
I forgot. I'm looking at my notes here. And when they come back after that hunt, Patrick says, that is why I'm trying to get you to practice. You have to practice a lot. And then in his little private thing, Patrick says, I'm getting really frustrated with Jermaine right now because he's not listening to one word I'm saying. Jermaine won't practice, but insists he's the best archer here. And then Jermaine says, Patrick is a seed of toxicity. Patrick is toxic. That is his strategy to take people out of this game. It is to annoy them, to frustrate them, because his strategy is not based in skill, because he knows that the other competitors are more skilled than him. And he says, my ethics are on a different page than that. I don't know. So we kind of skipped over that, but this is foreshadowing what's about to happen. And let's just talk about it. Jermaine's going to leave. And I think all of this is playing up to that. And I think that Patrick's right. You do have to practice. But we don't know if Jermaine's not practicing per se. We really don't know. But I think they're focusing on this practicing thing and showing Matt practicing to make it seem like Jermaine's leaving, but I think it's a lot deeper than that. I really do. And we'll talk about that when it gets closer to it, but I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. And we actually don't see Chini practicing either, and she was the one who was mainly shooting the bow and arrow when she and Jermaine went out on the hunt, but we don't see him mentioning anything to her. And so was she practicing, or was she not practicing and Patrick just chose to go for Jermaine in that moment? Maybe because, I don't know, maybe in that moment, Chini's just like, I know the mind games. Don't mess with me, Patrick, kind of thing.
Yeah, something's going on. I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. So what happens next?
I also wanted to mention, while Matt was practicing with his bow and arrow, he mentions that there are like 27 days left, which may come into play with a theory I have later. Either he said that on day 3 or something really big happens, and that's why this is all a month long. But moving on, I believe the next day, both Matt and Max decide to go out hunting for boars, and it's mentioned how they only have a small area to hunt in, so they may be going after the same boars, and Max and Matt are kind of following the same boar, and Max is like, okay, I'll let Matt take the shot on this, and so Matt gets a shot off, but he misses the boar, unfortunately, and Max doesn't hold that again. Max doesn't hold that against him, and he's not angry at Matt for missing the boar. He's just like, man, he missed the boar. Okay, we'll try again some other time. And we also get a lot of storyline from Kayla this episode because she's burning a lot of calories and she's able to get some fish, but she's not really able to replenish it. And so she's starting to get really worried. And I remember reading an article online where it featured Matt and Kayla was talking about she was going to Australia anyway, and she got a call from production. And so I'm thinking maybe she didn't have as much time to prepare as everyone else. So that's kind of where her worry is coming in, because she's like, I wasn't able to like bulk up or be as prepared. So I think that worry is starting to she's like feeling the negativity, and pretty much once you get to like that negative low point, you can't come back. So I'm really starting to get worried.
Tell me that she was a last minute put in for last one standing.
I don't know about last minute, but I think I would bet 1 penny that she got the call a little bit later than everyone else.
I wonder who she was put in for. I'm so curious now. I mean, because if you're going to be on Last One Standing, you do need to prepare. You do need to go watch the show. You need to get your skills ready. You need to study all those snare traps. You need to really prepare. So I can see her having mental issues if you're not really prepared. So that's a good tip there. I did not know that. So what's up next? So I would like to point out, I feel like Matt, just a little bit, was kind of blaming Max for some of his downfalls. Was he not? He was kind of criticizing Max for some of the things that he was doing. He's like, it smelled Max. And I just remember a couple little things in there. Yeah.
Sometimes I can't remember. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I just can't remember him talking about it. Hey, I'll go hunting. If I get something, you can partake if you help me process it, kind of thing. But yeah, I can understand Matt's frustration because something similar happened on season 1 and on previous challenges where certain people were kind of creating a disturbance in the force, and so he wasn't able to be as effective. But he is not as upset about it. He's just like, you know, if I were on my own, this would be better, but there are a lot of people around, so.
They kind of mentioned to Kayla, you want to go fish while we make these axes? And I think that hit her ego hard. What about you, Gabe?
Yeah, I think Max was trying his best to diffuse kind of her emotional moment because she was starting to get really in her head in that moment, and he saw that she was kind of overthinking it and she didn't really know what she was doing. So to try to keep her from kind of breaking down, he's like, hey, why don't you go, you've been really successful with the fishing, so why don't you go do that, and then Laura and I will work on this. And so Kayla can have a little bit of a break in that moment so she doesn't fully break down. But I'm sure at that moment she was just like, oh, maybe my team doesn't really see me as an asset in these challenges. So it's very much a give and take. But I think her going fishing was probably the best for her in that moment.
I think it probably was a great idea strategy-wise, but mentally-wise, It probably hurt her, but I think it all worked out in the end. So let's talk about the axes. I think obviously Darren had the best axe. Obviously, he actually changed up the way that he did his axes from the last time. So Patrick's whole theory of like, I saw Darren's last time, so that really didn't hold water because he didn't even do his axes the same way. I mean, who do you think had the best axe? Darren, of course, right?
Right. And I think Laura had some pretty good axes as well. Her and her flint napping, they got really sharp edges with theirs. And then I think the use of like scapulas might not have been the best choice for Maine and Cheney and Patrick.
And see, I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say like it really looked like it was chopping well, but
Never
I
mind.
could be wrong. Huh?
Never mind. I retract my statement.
No, we can disagree. Agree to disagree.
No, but that means I'm wrong.
No, we can agree to disagree. But I will say this. The main thing is I did agree with a certain point that you should have different ones. I think that especially when you're not an expert, you should have, if you have all the same ones and they break, well, then you're really in a bind.
Exactly. Trish being on Matt and Darren's team, she was able to give her insight with her axe because her axe was kind of the old faithful of her groups last season because Fernando and Dan, they were very strong and were able to chop the tree really well, but their axes kept falling apart. So while they were kind of mending theirs, they were able to use Trish's. And so I guess maybe they fused Darren and Trish's methods of making the axes to create an even better axe to help them out in this challenge, and it evolved into another stage of axe making.
So Darren's team won by landslide, correct?
Correct. Matt was very smart to check different trees in the area and kind of practicing on the trees. And so he saw, oh, I've chopped this type of tree before. This is the method to do it. And instead of trying to chop in one spot, he tried to go around because the fibers being mashed up, it wasn't able to be as supportive. So there was a point where, they're going around and it's like, oh no, we gotta keep going. We gotta end it. Oh, tree's falling. Okay, let's go. And they run off to the finish line.
I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. So who came in second place?
Who came in second? That would be Max, Laura, and Kayla.
And they were really amazing as well.
Yes, and they were neck and neck with Jermaine, Cheney, and Patrick, but by the way the edit went, there's a moment where Jermaine seems to have injured himself and kind of slowed down, and maybe the editing was trying to make us think that that was the reason why they got third place, or maybe Max, Laura, and Kayla already had a big enough lead, so it's hard to tell, but Max, Laura, and Kayla did get second place, and unfortunately Patrick and Cheney and Jermaine got third, and also Jermaine hurt himself, so that was very unfortunate for him.
It was sad. So let's just get to it. We knew somebody was leaving. We knew somebody was going to tap out. And unfortunately, it was Jermaine. I was shocked. Now, I will say this. I knew that Jermaine was not going to win. I knew that Jermaine left the competition fairly early. I knew this just because I kept up with his social media because I'm his friend. He didn't tell me or anything like that, but I was shocked. What did you think about him tapping out?
I was shocked as well, and I was also shocked because because on season 2, it was a reward challenge, and the last placing team faced an elimination challenge. And so it was interesting how this was just a reward challenge. And so my thought is that maybe Jermaine had mentioned the toxicity was wearing on him and that this being a competition wasn't able, or he really liked survival, but not really the competition. And maybe the negativity was kind of wearing on him. So maybe production was thinking maybe he'll have an argument with Patrick and then leave kind of thing. Or they wanted to get some more of the Patrick Jermaine rivalry before Jermaine left, or Exactly. No, I feel like they could have had an elimination challenge, but they're just like, okay, Patrick is ready to leave. Let's just let him bow out gracefully, kind of thing.
You
But
mean Jermaine was ready to leave because you said Patrick? Do you mean
oh, sorry.
Jermaine?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Jermaine seemed really ready to leave, and so maybe the producers wanted him to bow out without having to give them an extra challenge, and they didn't want the possibility of losing Chini or Patrick in that situation. So they're like, okay, let's not have an elimination challenge. Jermaine is 1 foot out the door. Let's just see where this goes. But I
think that you hit some really good points. I think that Jermaine was ready to go. I think that the edit is not showing everything. I think he left because there could have been a really big explosion. I think he did not want to go into this fighting mode. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not what he's out there for. He's out there to enjoy the experience. And I think that they wanted him to fight. I think Patrick was pushing his buttons and he bowed out because he did not want to go there. And I will say this, Patrick is doing a good job when you think about this as a competition. I don't know Patrick that well. I have been on Patrick's side. This has really bothered me because I do know the Black Cowboy. This is the only piece of advice that I'm going to give Patrick. This is a competition show. As far as the show's going, it's excellent. I think it's an excellent show. We have a villain. We have the Boy Scout. We have the strategy. We have something coming up that's great with the women who are going to be doing something that's excellent. Okay, we're going to get there. But Patrick, you're playing this role great. Do you agree, Gabe?
I think so. And I think that, every rivalry that Patrick has had this season has ended up with him being on top. First, it was him versus Jamie, and Jamie left. It was him versus Jermaine, and Jermaine left. So it's kind of building him up as a threat. And the edit kind of was going against Jermaine, like, oh, Jermaine's not practicing. Jermaine, the toxicity is getting to Jermaine. Patrick's getting in his head, these mind games. So it's really building up Patrick as like a really good antagonist for the season. And so it's interesting, those dynamics. And so now it's like, who is Patrick going to choose as his next rival in this scenario? And will he be the Legend Slayer that he says he is? Tune in next week to find out.
The producers need to prepare the NAA people that this is a competition show. This ain't the same. This ain't the same thing as NAA. When you go out there, get ready for this. Get ready for a different type of swag, right?
Exactly. And I think that the individuals who understood the assignment were Jamie, Patrick, and Matt. There are a few others, but those are the three I wanted to highlight because, Jamie had some of the least amount of days. People don't talk about him too much amongst the pages, no offense to him. And then he came in, he working with the hearts and minds. He came in second place that first challenge, did better than a lot of legends. He kind of he manipulated Suzanne in that scenario and really got her on his side and got a lot of people talking about him. Patrick is like, you know what? I'm going to be the villain. I'm going to be yelling. I'm going to get first place that first challenge. I'm going to Legend Slayer. Like, people will remember me. And Matt's like, I'm not going to be all super buddy. I'm going to play my mind games too this season. I'm not going to be everyone's best friend. And they're the ones getting everyone talking. So I think, yeah, they understood the assignment. And I think maybe within the next few seasons, we'll be seeing a lot of individuals who are like, yes, this is a competition, but we may unfortunately be seeing a lot less of the legends and a lot of fan favorites, because I remember Wes on season 1 was very much, I like survival, but I don't like competition. Jermaine was like, I love survival, but I don't like competition. So it's just a matter of balancing that, and hopefully.
Love how you said it. They understood the assignment. Gabe, you hit it on the nail on the head again. I don't think the Black Cowboy understood the assignment. And unfortunately, Patrick definitely understands the assignment. He needs the attention. He loves the attention. He's getting the attention, and he's giving good face. So Matt understands the assignment. And you know who else? Laura understands the assignment. I love how she can play both. She's really good at it as well. Don't you agree? She likes the competition. I enjoy it. So goodbye, Black Cowboy. I have much respect for you. Let's not forget, Chini tapped out. Did she not?
She did, and she tried, and when she was talking with Jermaine, I don't think it was mind games her being like, hey, if you want to leave, leave. But I think she understood, like, hey, if your priorities aren't in the competition, then it might be better for you to take yourself out of that situation so you don't spiral down a dark hole of despair. And I think I mentioned this before, but one of the main reasons why Cheney left season 1 was because her sister was about to have her first child. And so once all the arguing happened, she's just like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, my sister is...
You've never mentioned that before.
Oh, I
Hold up. No.
Oh.
So Cheney was in Last One Standing, and she left because she wasn't having a good time. And she's like, my sister's about to have a baby. I'm out. This is not even worth it. Is that what you're telling me?
I swear there is. I swear I need to find it, but there was a clip that was released onto social media where Cheney was talking about how I don't think they showed it during the episode, but she was talking about, my mind's not really here. My sister's about to have her first child. And after all the arguings and that really awkward intervention that was happening, she's just like, you know what? My priorities aren't here. I don't think I'm going to win this. Like, my mind isn't in it. And with Naked and Afraid, your mind has to be in it 100% and prioritize this challenge. She's like, I can't prioritize this challenge. I need to go home and be with my sister.
So the answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Cheney understands Patrick because the way that she handled it when Jermaine was like, I'm out, it was a little weird. But I think it's because we don't really know what was going on. I think him leaving, I don't think that was the real leaving. I think he was like, I'm out. This ain't even worth it. I'm not having fun. And I think that was a little stage. I don't think that was his real out.
Maybe during the 90s, like, and I'm going to leave, but production is like, no, stay a little bit, have a little interaction with Cheney because Jermaine and Cheney seem to be really good friends. And then Jermaine can have that moment where he says goodbye to Patrick and then leaves. And then Patrick is like, yes. My plan has worked. My mind.
No, he wouldn't even say goodbye to Patrick. He didn't say goodbye to Patrick, did he?
I swear he was like, hey, man, I'm out. And Patrick was like, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't have that moment with them. Whatever. Peace out. So what do you think is going to happen next? Okay, so is there anything else that we need to talk about that's interesting?
During the episode, Trish never mentions her eye in this episode. And Trish doesn't really get that much screen time in this episode. So that, I guess I wanted to point that out. And also with the updated PSRs that they showed on the Instagram and Facebook page, they got Jermaine's PSR wrong because in the updated PSR, they said his PSR unfortunately dropped to 7.4. But then when they showed everyone's updated PSRs, it's still a 7.6. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Continuity error.
Oh, you messed up. Okay, so let's talk about Trish. Let me remember everything about Trish. Trish gives Patrick the nickname of Tricky. She eats fish. She eats pig. She participates in that little conversation where Patrick comes over and complains about Jermaine. I did not like that conversation where Patrick, Matt, and Trish are talking about Jermaine. I didn't like it. She participated in it. Remember that?
Yeah, and Patrick is like, dude, he's not practicing with his bow and arrows. That's crazy. He doesn't sound like that, but yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying, Matt was just like, you gotta practice. And I also, in that moment, I'm just like, wait a second. Matt's the guy who called you a weasel. Matt's the guy who put Jermaine in your team. I guess there's a lot more friendliness than they're not as I've said earlier, I think they're not as like butting heads as they were.
It's confusing.
What are we not seeing here? Because Patrick is, his conversation with Matt, Max, and Laura is what convinced Matt to put Jermaine in his group. So you're going back to the guy who was part of the reason why Jermaine is in your group, and you're butting heads with him, and you're talking about how how Jermaine is not practicing with the bow and arrow and how frustrated you are with that. And I'm just like, wait, but what is going on here? What are we not seeing?
Exactly.
I don't
All right.
understand.
So I saw some posts about Trish and her eye and how she was faking it. No, she wasn't faking it. Her eye just got better. Hello. I mean, it was stinging when it happened. It got better. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just that simple, people. So let's talk about the Facebook post of the week. And so Jordan Ray Luma says, can someone explain Patrick's goal? His behavior just sickens me and it makes me hate watching the show nowadays. I feel defeated. Now, I point this out because I felt defeated too. Something about his actions this week, it just made me sad. It made me feel dirty. It made me feel defeated. And his post got 107 comments. And I thought it was a really good post. And some of the people said that he was playing a role. Some said that he's playing a game. And I agree, he's playing a game. Some people say he's the new Jeff. This is what one person said. I honestly think he is just an obnoxious person. I don't know that it's a goal or a strategy, even though he claims it is. Some people are just genuinely hard to like. He's one of them for me. I think that Patrick likes attention. I think Patrick needs attention. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that we need a person who is an attention seeker in Last One Standing. What do you think?
I agree with that. And I think that with these shows, there's always a role to fill, like the dark horse, the underdog, the super skilled individual, the antagonist, the wild card kind of thing. And I think Patrick maybe saw the lineup and he's like, okay, I'll nab that antagonist role because the antagonist usually gets a good, nice storyline and he has the skills to back it up. So he's going to make it pretty far, most likely. And so he knows exactly what role to fill and how to get screen time. And so he's playing the game. I'm sure he could have been mentored by a certain someone on the best way to get screen time or someone's. And so I think he's playing a role and he's doing it really well. I think he was very well casted, very well acted. I'm sure when he gets that Emmy, he'll be thanking the Academy and the fans for all the messages he's been sent. Oh, it was really funny. Andrew Forrestal, who is friends with Patrick, posted a photo and he's like, me sitting here chilling, not getting all like the hate mail that Patrick French is getting. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And now I'm just like, oh, is Andrew trying to throw his hat in the ring and wanting to compete against Patrick himself? We shall see.
Oh, I've kind of noticed some of Andrew's posts too. And he likes attention as well.
Yeah, I think, well, there were a few times oh, yeah. So during season 18, when Stephen Lee Hall Jr. made his grand return, what had happened was there was that line at the end of the episode saying no tap outs. And then there was this whole controversy of, oh, yes, he did tap out because the editing, he did leave that challenge on Last One Standing season 1 when people were saying, no, he was eliminated. He said that he had 30 minutes left and didn't have time to boil the water. So he just took in the views and stuff. And that was reignited. And there was a certain individual who was bringing in the arguments and trying to provide video evidence, and guess who were in the comments supporting this person who said that Steven was wrong? Patrick and Andrew. So
wait, hang on. Patrick and Andrew were, just say it in one sentence because I'm confused. Patrick and Andrew were saying that Steven did tap, or what?
Sorry, there was a certain someone who is to yell, who is seen on seasons 1 and 2 of Last One Standing, who posted like opposing viewpoints, including the video of Steven's elimination from Last One Standing season 1, and Patrick and Andrew were in support of this person who was against Steven.
So Steven, my gosh. So basically what we're going to say is Andrew and Patrick both like attention.
Yes, and they were starting this attention seeking back in season 18.
Stirring the pot.
Exactly. They were both stirring the pot for season 18. I think Patrick, because, he was about to be seen on Last One Standing season 2, so he's going to be at the front of people's minds, and everyone's like, he's going to be a villain. And Andrew, because he's friends with Patrick, so I'm sure he also wants to get another chance to go out there and the best way to do that is to get everyone's attention. And I guess they're fine with negative attention, but they're like, hey, people are talking about us.
In David's story, I'm sure you love it, don't you, David? David, you love it, don't you? I'm sure he loves it, right? The producers are loving this.
Yes, and the photos I just sent you deal with David's story, and I don't know if I should talk about that now or if I should talk about something.
Let me look.
Okay, can I talk about something? Or can I talk about Sam real quick?
Baby, you talk about whatever you want to talk about. This is your podcast.
Oh, okay. It's our podcast. I can't pronounce his last name, but British Sam, I have spotted him on social media, and I am so happy because he's great. But I remember I was talking about him in previous podcasts, and I'm like, where is Sam? Where has he been? He's been off social media. And so I was looking at my notifications, and I saw that Sam had reacted to one of the videos from the podcast. It was the one where you're like, Patrick, why are you telling everyone all this information about Jermaine? And he put the laughing react, and I'm like, yay, Sam is somewhat back. And I'm just happy that he's kind of back-ish on social media, or it's like, okay, proof that he's still out there. And I hope that he can make a comeback and people can be like, rah, rah, ree. We think you're great, Sam.
Sam, you know I love Sam. I'm going to call him Sam Moser. I love you. Gabe loves you. We are so happy to see you creeping back into social media. I don't know where you've been, but I'm so happy you're back. And then, so let's talk about whatever happened to Wes Harper. I've been seeing Wes post a lot of little things on social media lately. And I saw that he sent somebody an autograph or something. And I have his autograph and his cookbook. And then David Story made a little comment in this post that you sent. And he said, keep looking. Is that what he said? Keep watching. Keep watching. What does that mean, David Story? What does that mean?
I have some theory.
Tell me your theories. Break it now. What do you think?
Well, I think that we may be getting something very soon, and we know this because Stephen Lee Hall Jr. himself said that there will be something, one of the hardest things that's ever been done, the most difficult challenge, and it's happening after Shark Week. So my thought is, what if Stephen Lee Hall Jr. and Wes and several other survivalists have done a challenge that we're going to see soon? And I think I may know who else may be there. Yes, and I think I may know who's on there, but I don't know what else I can say because I feel like if I go too in-depth, people are going to think that's weird because I like to do my research.
Right, and people are going to think that people are telling us stuff, and people are not, let me tell you people are not telling us anything. We research. We look at everyone's social media. We follow everybody. People are not giving us secrets, right, Gabe? We just follow everybody. We live, drink, and sleep and dream all of this.
Oh gosh, when I'm in research mode, there are times where I'm just sitting awake and I'm like, wait, no, what if someone was posting for them and they actually did go out there? Wait, what if they were just taking a social media hiatus? And I'm just like, but I've been like, I cross-examine, but it's also, again, if I go fully into my process, people are going to be like, and then just like back away slowly.
Obsess a little bit. So let's talk about what's going on with the girls this week. So goodbye, Black Cowboy Jermaine. We have something coming up. Even Megan Afraid is teasing it. What do you think it is, Gabe?
It may be very controversial, but I think that all three of them are gonna tap.
I'm not frozen.
Oh, sorry. I think that Kayla, Laura, and Trish are gonna tap out of the challenge.
And why?
Because a lot in this episode we hear about Laura and her neck, and then we don't hear about Trish's eye, but it still may be giving her problems. And then with Kayla, she's kind of going down the negativity rabbit hole. And once you hit the point of no return, there's no really coming back from that. And we have seen in the past survivalists injuring themselves, and they are cleared to continue, but they're like, I can't really do this anymore. And maybe Laura and Trish have kind of hit that point, and Kayla is just not able to bounce back either. Also, with the trailers... There are maybe one or two more points, but I think that all three of them are going to tap. Laura, Trish, and Kayla from the trailers that haven't happened yet. There are moments further on where I'm like, I can't. Kayla, Laura, and Trish are going to tap out of the chat. So I think that because that would probably send ripples through everything. Matt also said that they had 27 more days left, so maybe it was supposed to be 45, and if 3 people tapped, then they're like, okay, let's just have it be a month. And then we don't hear about Trish's eye, but it's still big. That might be giving her problems. It's either that or them being like, we're going down against negativity rabbit was the only other theory. And once you hit the point of no return, there's no really coming back. Maybe getting a triple tap out. And we have seen in the past, but I could be wrong, injuring themselves, and they are clear to continue, but they're like, I can't really do this anymore. And maybe Laura and Trish have kind of hit that point, and Kayla is just not able to back either. And also, with the trailers,
whatever happens,
there are maybe one or two more points.
It's not just because of
three. Laura,
I think
Trish,
things
and
are
Kayla
getting tough out there
from the
mentally.
trailers that haven't happened yet.
I think that
there are moments
even
further
though
on where I'm like, I can't.
Still there,
I don't think they're there for that. So.
I think that this is a toxic
because that would probably send ripples through everything. Matt also said that they had 27 days left, so maybe it was supposed to be 45, and if 3 people tapped, then they're like, okay, let's just have it be a month.
To compete for $100,000, even though I don't think $100,000
happening. It's either that or them being like, we're teaming up against you guys.
If you're not there to compete for a large amount of money for some cutthroat
I think we may be getting a triple tap out, but I could be wrong. But that seems like a very. I'm sorry if I deflated the situation.
I think you're right. I think that people are going to be shocked about what's about to happen, and I don't think we'll really know the real reason, but we'll see what happens. I don't want them to shut us down, though, Gabe. I don't want them to shut us down. So we'll see what's going to happen. What's the synopsis for next week? What does it say?
Down Under Siege. Luckily, I typed this out because I knew this was coming. Down Under Siege. Pushed to the brink, 3 competitors send shockwaves through the outback. All camps are disbanded, and challenges going forward will be solo tests. A hunting competition offers a protein reward. Medics are called when a survivalist steps on a hot coal. Or steps on hot coals.
Read it again slowly.
Pushed to the brink. 3 competitors send shockwaves through the situation. All camps are disbanded, and challenges going forward will be solo tests. A hunting competition offers a protein reward. Medics are called when a survivalist steps on hot coals.
Pushed to the brink. Pushed to the brink. Remember that, people.
Yeah.
I think Jermaine was pushed to the brink.
I think so, and I think Down Under Siege. Luckily, I typed this earlier. Down Under Siege is a very pushed to the brink. 3 competitors send shockwaves through the outback. In competition shows, contestants are kind of eliminated in the same way, whether it's losing a challenge, getting voted off, or steps on a judge eliminating them because they didn't perform very well. But with Last One Standing, it's either you're eliminated, pushed to the self-tap, 3 competitors send shockwaves through the outback. The camps are disbanded. I think and maybe they should fine-tune it a little bit more to where it's mainly elimination that people are going, because usually in regular competitions, someone getting disqualified or quitting are very rare. So I think with all these self-taps and med taps, I think we don't really see everyone to their fullest capability. So I think maybe if we kind of went to a Last One Standing Season 2 scenario where there is a lot of food available, you just have to be able to get to it. Like, whether it is a very unique concept. So maybe if they kind of fine-tune that formula where it's almost purely eliminations the whole season, eliminated in the same way, whether it's losing a challenge, I'm sure getting voted off, yes, they're pushed to the brink and they're self-tabbing, but then it's judge eliminating them. But I wanted to see the best of the best. Like, these challenges, either you're eliminated, bushcrafters self-tap, have a low pointer, like before they enter the season, they might have some sort of negativity that like plagues them. Maybe they should fine-tune it a little bit more to where it's performing eliminating that people are going, because I think this will be dramatic competition, but I just wish it was more like elimination are very rare. So I think
love
self-tap.
What I love about Last One Standing
we
far
don't really see everyone to their fullest
is that it's
capability. So I
growing
think maybe if we
slowly.
kind of went to a Last One Standing season 2
Last One
scenario
Standing
where
1 was a
there is
mess.
a
There were so many
lot
things
of
that they
food
had to
available,
kind
you
of
just have to be able
refine
to
and
get
tune.
to it, like
Last
whether
One
it be
Standing
fishing or
2,
hunting.
they had to
And so
refine
maybe
and tune.
if they kind
Last
of
One
fine-tune
Standing
that
3,
formula
they're
where
still
it's almost
refining and
purely
tuning.
eliminations the whole
And it's
season,
not
and
just
maybe
production. It's
people
not
won't
just
be like
David's
pushed to the
story.
brink. I'm
It's
sure
also the
production is like,
contestants
yes, they're
on the
pushed to the
show.
brink and they're
They're
self-tapping, but then
learning
it's like, I wanted to see the
on
best.
what, even
Like
if the
with
black
like
cowboy
these
came back, he would
challenges,
go in
and
there with a
maybe
different
one of the
mindset.
best
Just like Sheenie, she's
bushcrafters
back
might
with a
have
different
low point
mindset.
or
And
the
I don't think the
season, they
black
might
cowboy would go
have
back.
some
I
sort
don't
of
know.
negativity
But
that like
if he
plagues
did,
them
he would go
throughout
back in
the
there with
show,
a
and they
different
may not be able
mindset.
to
So
perform their
every time this
best.
show
And so
happens, every time a
I think
person
this will
goes
be
on a show,
dramatic,
it's
but
a
I just
different
wish it was more
mindset, and
like
it's growing.
eliminations
It's
throughout the
unique.
season.
It's its creation, and I love that about it. And I think the fan base is growing along with it. And unfortunately, I think it's going to affect Naked and Afraid. I think it's going to affect the way that casting does Naked and Afraid from here on out. Because they're going to start drawing contestants for Last One Standing from the pool of Naked and Afraid people. And that's going to change the way that they think about who's going on the show. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. And unfortunately, I think a lot of individuals, it takes them a season to get into that mindset where they're just like, oh, this is a competition now. Oh, whoops. Oh, no. And I'm out of there. But it would be great if everyone kind of came in with that same mindset, because that would make it a more dynamic story. And a lot of people are more in it to win it. And we won't see as many self taps, which would be great. I don't know if it's just picking people who are already in that mindset, or if it's just kind of, I don't know exactly how they could do that, but hopefully they'll be able to prepare the survivalists more for that scenario. And I guess as they're learning and growing, I'm sure by season 7, they'll have everything refined and they'll be able to have more efficient alliances, because alliances on Last One Standing aren't super effective at this time, but maybe in a few seasons there'll be ways where an alliance would be a lot of individuals. While now it's just like, okay, here's my that mindset team members for this moment. They're just like, oh, this is the competition now. Oh, once we go to another team, it's just like those relationships don't really.
There's no formula yet. There's no Last One Standing formula, so you can't go in there with any kind of game plan, because there is no formula, because when you go out there, you have no idea what's going to happen. And so it is a crazy, wild ride, which I'm sure that everybody is loving, from, you know, the people that are watching from their homes.
They could do that.
I know David's Story's loving it. I know the producers are loving it. I'm loving it. Gabe's loving it. We're all loving it.
They're learning and growing. I'm sure by season 7 they'll have everything refined, and
listen,
they'll be able to.
I really need to calm down. I need to refine myself. You need a referee on the show. I'm telling you, bring the Godfather, EJ, and me out there to do a little refereeing out there. That would be an excellent addition. Just try us out for one little session and see how it goes. I'm just telling you, not because I want to be out there, and we'll be naked. It'll be great. Alrighty, I'm out. Thank you so much for listening. Gabe, you were excellent. So sorry about the technical difficulties. We're really going to try to work on it.
Yes, right now, after the 3rd try, it seems everything has been working out, and I hope everything uploads properly. If not, I don't think too much has been cut out of the beginning. Matt successfully got the board, good for him, and then tree chopping, and then Jermaine left. So we'll see what happens, and I hope that soon we'll be getting a trailer for the thing that's coming after Shark Week, but we shall see.
We shall see. Keep your eye out. You heard it here first. Stephen Lee Hall, Wes is going to be here, and it's all your fault, David. You're the one who let the cat out the bag.
I have the
Bye.
screenshots. Bye. Thank you.